He noticed the man counting change slowly, his hands trembling. The diner was noisy, but the moment felt still. The old customer had left too much money on the table, maybe by mistake. Quietly, the young waiter picked it up, rushed outside, and tapped the man's shoulder. "Sir, I think you forgot this." The man looked surprised, almost confused. He smiled, took the money, and said, "Thank you, truly." The waiter nodded, returned to work, unaware that someone was watching. A camera, hidden in the corner of the diner, had just captured everything. And what happened next would change his life forever. His name was Daniel, 24 years old, a full-time waiter at a small neighborhood diner. Not the kind of place that paid well, but it was honest work, and he was grateful. Every morning, he walked 30 minutes to get there, saving every cent he could. After his shift, he would visit his mother. She was ill. He was her only caregiver. Medical bills stacked up quietly at home. Daniel never complained. He served each customer with a smile, cleaned tables like they were his own kitchen, and made sure no one ever felt unseen. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He wasn't looking for tips or praise. He was just kind. In a world moving fast and loud, Daniel lived slowly and softly. But it was in that quiet decency that something extraordinary was about to begin. It was a slow afternoon when the man came in. Elderly, soft-spoken, wearing a faded coat and shoes that had seen better days. Daniel greeted him with the same warmth he gave everyone. Offered him a seat by the window, poured him a glass of water without being asked, and gave him an extra minute to choose from the menu. The man ordered a simple bowl of soup and toast. He ate slowly, quietly, like he hadn't been treated kindly in a long time. When it came time to pay, the man pulled out crumpled bills from his pocket, counted carefully, and handed them to Daniel. A few minutes after the man had left, Daniel noticed the change on the table, more than what the meal cost. Most waiters might have seen it as a tip. But Daniel saw something else. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was all the man had left. Without hesitation, he rushed outside, scanned the street, and spotted the old man halfway down the block. He ran, caught up, and gently tapped his shoulder. "Excuse me, sir. I think you gave too much." The old man paused, looked into Daniel's eyes, and smiled. It wasn't about the money. It was about something deeper. Someone noticing. Someone caring. Daniel nodded politely and turned back. He didn't know. That moment had just changed his life. The rest of the day passed like any other. Daniel returned to the diner, refilled coffee cups, wiped down tables, and greeted the usual customers with his quiet smile. There was no applause, no cameras, no one saying, "You did something amazing." To him, it was just another act of kindness, one among hundreds he'd done without ever expecting anything back. That night, he walked home in the drizzle, his shoes soaked, his jacket thin, but his heart light. He didn't know it yet, but someone had noticed. And that someone wasn't just grateful. They were powerful. The next morning, Daniel arrived at the diner like always. He tied his apron, wiped the counter, and got to work. But something felt different. A group of well-dressed people walked in, not the usual kind. Suits, cameras, quiet whispers. They sat at a corner booth but didn't order anything. Then the elderly man from the day before returned. He wasn't in his worn coat anymore. This time, he walked with confidence and a knowing smile. "Daniel," he said gently, "we need a moment of your time." Confused, Daniel nodded. One of the suited men handed him an envelope. Inside was a letter neatly typed. He read the first line. "This isn't a prank. This is a thank you." Daniel looked up, bewildered. The man continued, "What you did yesterday, few people would, but someone always notices, and I think it's time the world noticed you." The room went still. The old man took off his hat, extended his hand, and said quietly, "My name is Charles Emerson. I'm the founder of one of the largest philanthropic funds in the country." Daniel froze. He had heard the name before, on the news, in stories, but certainly not over soup and toast. Charles continued, "I go to diners like yours, dressed simply, looking for something money can't buy. integrity, humanity. He said. And you, Daniel, showed it without knowing anyone was watching. Daniel tried to speak, but words failed him. Another person stepped forward, handed him another envelope. Inside was a scholarship, a medical fund for his mother, a job offer in Charles's humanitarian foundation. You gave back without being asked, Charles said. So now, it's our turn to give to you. Daniel wasn't just overwhelmed, he was changed. The scholarship covered 4 full years of college, something Daniel had long buried as a dream he couldn't afford. The medical fund meant his mother could finally receive the treatment she desperately needed. No more skipped appointments, no more sleepless nights over bills. But the most valuable gift was belief. Charles invited Daniel to join his foundation, not as a waiter, but as a coordinator for community programs. A role where Daniel could help others the same way he always had, but now on a larger scale. For the first time in years, Daniel saw his future not as something to survive, but something he could build. He didn't change who he was to get rewarded. He was rewarded because he stayed true to who he was. Daniel didn't become a hero overnight. He didn't wear a cape, make a speech, or try to go viral. He simply cared. And that single moment of honesty, it echoed. One small act reached someone with power, and that power, fueled by kindness, lifted Daniel from surviving to thriving. So the next time you think no one's watching, that your good deeds don't matter, think of Daniel. Because someone might just be watching, and they might be exactly the person who can change everything. If this story moved you, leave a comment below. Kindness doesn't go unnoticed. Then share this video, because we all need to be reminded. One good heart can light 1,000.